Ladies and gentlemen, things are spicing up. Things will happen over the next couple of weeks. You best believe things are going to be moving very, very fast. We've rejected the first bid from Arsenal Football Club in regards to Kai Havertz, so we'll talk about that. The interest is absolutely concrete. Arsenal definitely wants Kai Havertz, or else there wouldn't be a bid coming through. And the fact that the first bid has been rejected, I'm pretty certain Arsenal will come back again to get this particular player. Ladies and gentlemen, lots of news to get through. We're going to have to ramp up things at the other side of the coin. We're going to have to keep up with some of this news. So let's go.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get cracking into this. Matt Law confirms Nathan Gissing's report. Chelsea have turned down Kai Havertz's bid. This just dropped from Matt Law literally about a few minutes ago. Matt Law stating Chelsea have turned down an opening bid from Arsenal for Kai Havertz, but talks continue and player keen for the move. Earlier on, Nathan Gissing did put this particular tweet out. Obviously, it's been republished by PYS. Breaking: Chelsea have rejected an offer from Arsenal for Kai Havertz. So look, ladies and gentlemen, it's certain we're gonna lose Kai Havertz in this transfer window. I was a bit skeptical moving into this transfer window whether we're actually going to get any offers for Kai Havertz, because 2 years remaining, and you know, we didn't see any indication that he wanted to leave or anything like that. But I'm glad this has materialized. Look, you know, as I've kept on saying all throughout, we've seen enough of Kai Havertz. Now, if he goes on to Arsenal and becomes a success story over there, kudos to the player, kudos to Arsenal, kudos to Arteta to be able to get the best out of Kai Havertz. But look, for us, it's important to revamp. It's important to refresh. A player like Kai Havertz, maybe he's over it as well. Maybe he's over. I'm pretty certain he's over it. He doesn't want to stick around. As Matt Law has said here, Chelsea have turned down an opening bid from Arsenal for Kai Havertz, but talks continue and player keen on the move. The player is keen on the move. The player is not saying that, do you know what? 2 more seasons left. Pochettino's here. It could be a new beginning at Chelsea Football Club under the new ownership. The first season was an absolute shambles. It was a disaster. Maybe I'll stick around. Maybe let's see, what happens under Pochettino and see if I can give my best. But that's not the case with the player. The player is probably just fed up, and then he wants a new challenge, new atmosphere, new environment. And big up to him, man. Big up to him. For us, Arsenal, bring us the money and let's move on. We're linked with a few other players. Gabri Veiga, we talk about down the track. Apparently, we're linked with him. I do believe if we let go of someone like Kai Havertz, because even though a lot of us wanted him gone, I don't think he was penciled down as 100% confirmation to leave. So the fact that he's leaving, I think this is more of an additional player that's leaving. Obviously, players like Mount, Kovacic, and many others, they were penciled down to leave. I don't think Kai Havertz was really penciled down, although there were rumors that later on in the season, if there is a decent bid that comes through, because there's only 2 years left, so we're in a bit of a predicament. Do you get the contract extension done? Do you sell him? So if there was a decent enough bid, then we let go of him. And I think this is probably what's happening now. The question is, what was the bid? What was the bid that we rejected? Now, we'll talk about that. There was a particular tweet from a particular journalist stating that it was roughly, Arsenal were preparing something around 50 to 55 million. Now, if that's what we rejected, we need to calm ourselves down. Look, I believe for Kai Havertz, maybe we can get about 60 million. I think that's a decent enough price. 55 million, I probably wouldn't, turn my nose against that. So I'd consider that massively. So it'll be interesting to know what was the first bid that we rejected as the news flows through. Now, this is another story that's materializing, and this is perfect. A bidding war for Kai Havertz will be absolutely on target on this particular transfer saga. Thomas Tuchel is driving a pursuit for Kai Havertz. He wants him as a striker for Bayern Munich. I don't know what. He's the one who started the whole 9.5 thing with Kai Havertz. I do understand. Thomas Tuchel does appreciate Kai Havertz. He did use Kai Havertz quite a lot up front, and the whole 9.5 business his best position. What's his best position? 9.5. He's the one who started this, Thomas Tuchel. So look, I don't get it. Like this whole fascination about Havertz being a striker. We've seen him. He does not have that quality, that final sort of product to be a striker. And many other facets he does lack as a striker. But some of these managers they absolutely see him as a striker. I don't know how Arsenal are going to deploy him. We'll see if Arsenal do end up getting him. Looks like Havertz is more keen on Arsenal, which is strange. You'd think he wouldn't mind going back to his native country, Germany, and also playing for the biggest club in Germany, Bayern Munich. But looks like Bayern are in this race, and good. Let's give him to the biggest suitor out there. Whoever gives the most money, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on Kai Havertz perhaps going to Arsenal or Bayern Munich. How do you feel about either one of those? Next up, ladies and gentlemen, matter of time for Mateo Kovacic to Manchester City. Personal terms done. Still discussing on final details. I think personal terms was done last week when Fabrizio Romano dropped the exclusive on that. This player's gone. It's finished. Fabrizio Romano had this player as a pinned tweet for like a couple of weeks, and that's when I knew this was done and dusted. Fabrizio is really close on this particular story. He probably has someone very, very close from the Man City side of things, and also from Kovacic's agency side of things, because he's the first one who's breaking all this story in regards to Kovacic. So look, I wish him luck once again. Another one of those players. I think once Thomas Tuchel got sacked, his feelings towards Chelsea has disappeared. You can just tell the way he plays for Croatia and then he comes for Chelsea. It's two different classes of player, and injury prone as well. They're saying that we're potentially lining up about a 40 million euros offer from Man City. I'll take that. What's that? Roughly about 35 million pounds. I think that's probably the right price for Mateo Kovacic. And once again, we'll see how he does in Man City. I've got no doubt that Mateo Kovacic is going to be an absolute success story under Pep Guardiola. Pep has a way to get the best out of all of these players. So look, potentially Gundogan or maybe Bernardo Silva, whoever else is probably going to leave Manchester City, and they're gonna start to prepare for next season's defense of their treble. Mateo Kovacic, look, I wish you all the best, man. I wish you all the best. Thank you for all your services. I wish it worked out a little bit more. Look, we need more from a midfielder. He is a silky midfielder. Can drive the ball through midfield. He's got good dribbling ability. Is very much press resistant, but lack goals, lack of assists as well. And that lack of assists is not always his fault. But look, time to move on from Mateo Kovacic as well. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Spurs, Brighton, and West Ham are the three main contenders for Conor Gallagher. He could be used in Caicedo deal. Brighton value Caicedo at minimum 100 million. Now, this is coming from Simon Johnson from The Athletic. This 100 million fee is not resonated by Fabrizio Romano. Now, Fabrizio Romano tends to think we can land this for about 80 to 85. And once again, just like the Kovacic news, this Caicedo news has been driven massively by Fabrizio Romano. He must once again have someone really close in that particular deal. And he's been on this particular saga, and he's been saying Chelsea is the one leading the race. Chelsea, stay patient. You're going to get this done. 100 million is a price that's getting touted around from the Brighton side of things, or a lot of Brighton journalists coming out and saying, Brighton value the player at 100 million. And look, there's a report from Andy Naylor who covers Brighton saying that if Declan Rice is worth 100 million, then Caicedo, you best believe, should be worth similar, because he's sort of same type of player, or if not better. This is coming from the Brighton side of things. So look, I can understand where they're coming from, but look, I think 80 to 85 million is probably the right price for Caicedo. Even for Declan Rice, the 100 million is a bit too outlandish. I think once again for Declan Rice, 80 to 85 million. They're probably similar type, similar sort of skill set of player. So yeah, they should probably be around the 80, 85 million. In regards to Conor Gallagher, what can I say? If there's Spurs, if there's Brighton, if there's West Ham, especially Brighton with the whole Caicedo situation, let's get it done. Once again with Conor Gallagher, we've seen enough, and he definitely does not fit our style. I'm keen to see how he's going to fit Brighton's style. Brighton like to play football. Conor Gallagher is someone who's not utterly keen on ball to his feet. He's more of a counter-attacking player when there's less time to think, but when there's, you have to construct and you have to be an architect in midfield, that's just not Conor Gallagher. But look, let's see what he does elsewhere. And I don't want to put off opposition fans and opposition teams. Hey, come and collect Conor Gallagher. Come on. Chelsea are at the center of negotiations for Moses Caicedo. After Arsenal withdrew their interest, Brighton valued the midfield at 100 million. This price tag is getting touted around, but I'm not phased. I'm believing Fabrizio Romano on this one. New bid coming from Mason Mount from United. We'll get to the Mason Mount story very, very soon. We'll stick with the Caicedo situation for now. Talks will start next week between Chelsea and Brighton on Caicedo. Personal terms are nearly agreed. This is from Fabrizio Romano. This was late yesterday. Fabrizio, as I said, has been driving this Caicedo news. Chelsea are really tempting Caicedo with their project. This is from Fabrizio Romano. I'm glad, man. Look, this is what I said all along with the Caicedo transfer saga. Firstly, I hate the way how Brighton has been treating us like a dog, man, dragging us around. Levi Colwell's situation as well. They've mugged us with many transactions in recent times, manager, player, the lot, right? So I hate dealing with these guys. But I'm glad that we're getting a bit of a head start on Caicedo. Seems like we are trying to do this properly and trying to move as quickly as possible as well. And I'm glad that we've been able to tempt Caicedo in our project. Look, I would find it very difficult to sell our project at the moment, finishing 12th. The first season under the new ownership has been a disaster. Whole heap of players that are looking to leave. It just doesn't sound very, very lucrative at the moment, right? But hopefully the future is bright. Hopefully, this is what Pochettino, he symbolizes that the future is better, and the caliber of players that we're looking to get in this transfer window and how calm we're trying to be and not be erratic in this window, hopefully gives a outlook to these players that Chelsea hopefully will change things around next season. So I'm glad if this is the case that we are able to convince some of these players. Caicedo fee around 80 to 85 million. It could take some days. Look, as long as for me, I know some people are, and I've said it as well, I don't want this to be dragged out for middle of July or early stages of August, just before the Premier League starts. No, I don't want that. As long as Caicedo is in the plane for the pre-season tour to USA, I'm fine. We've got 2 weeks before July starts. And then I think first week, obviously, Pochettino starts working from 1st of July. And then we'll start hearing who's going to be flying to the US tour. And maybe after the first week finishes, the second week they start flying. I think that's probably the program. As long as Caicedo is there in the plane, I'm fine with that. That gives us about 3 weeks time to get this Caicedo deal done. And I'm hoping that we do get it done. Look, this player, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, will transform our midfield, will be splendid alongside Enzo Fernandez. So for me, this does give me a good belief, man. If we land Caicedo, it gives me massive belief for next season. And Pochettino will relish that midfield of Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. And then we've got Cesare, we've got Santos, hopefully Chukwuemeka, but maybe he's gone out on a loan. So quite a lot of young talent to work on along with these players who are also very young and talented. So look, fantastic if we can do this. This is from Felix Johnson. Look, I probably have to do a separate video all together on the news that Felix has been dropping. The issue with Felix is none of the other news aggregators treat him as a proper source, a journalist, so they don't really get his news and then aggregate that in their page. So I have to go separately on Felix's page, and Felix has got some wild news, man. I have to do a separate video for him. Maybe, who knows, maybe later on today. I don't know. We might even have to do a live. But this is what Felix had to say about Caicedo. More, understand Pochettino has directly spoken to Moses Caicedo. Player is on board. Chelsea confident, however, the big test will be negotiating a deal with Brighton. Look, Brighton, what do you want? Gallagher, apparently Amanda Broya's name's getting thrown around. Understand Brighton have expressed interest to Chelsea for both Conor Gallagher and Amanda Broya on permanent deals. Chelsea are confident they can orchestrate a part exchange along with Roberto De Zerbi promised to Caicedo, but remains to be seen. Personal terms, not an issue. Look, I don't want to personally let go of Amanda Broya. I think there could be a serious player there. We signed a long-term contract with Armando Broja as well. So, look, I don't want to be too premature with that player and let him go, and then he blows up at Brighton and then ends up being a 100 million player. I think we need to stay a little bit more patient off the back of that injury that Armando Broja has endured. Colwell at this point is untouchable, unreal. If Brighton will still assert Levi as has to be included in the deal, but on Chelsea's end, including Levi hasn't crossed their mind. Chelsea leaning to just using Gallagher in the deal, but interest also in Broja, so can't rule out both. Look, the fact that there's rumours about Kalidou Koulibaly potentially moving on, and there's now counter rumours coming out that now he's happy to stay at Chelsea Football Club. I do think he's going to move on. Makes me think that Levi Colwell is going to stay at Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea do not want to sell Broja, by the way, and Poch wants to see him and Fofana in pre-season. As said above, Chelsea were, as of this morning, planning for a part exchange with Gallagher, but interest from Brighton in Broja means you can't rule both just Broja out. Both are just Broja out. Look, yeah, I hope Pochettino takes his time on with Broja and sees him in pre-season. I don't want to jump the gun on Armando Broja, but at the same time, yeah, if there is a part player exchange that we can do with Caicedo, let's use Conor Gallagher. But if it comes down to Broja as well, I don't want to let him go, but no, I don't want to let him go. I don't want to let him go. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comment section. Are you keen to perhaps let go of Armando Broja as a part exchange for Caicedo with Brighton? Maybe even Broja and Conor Gallagher. Let me know in the comment section. Next up now, let's talk about Mason Mount. Manchester United preparing a final offer, 50 million for Mason Mount. This is coming from Mirror Football. Look, we've already rejected a 40 million bid. And I've said, come on, Man United, don't be stingy. All right, time to stump up the money. You've thrown money to everyone. Now you want to be stingy with us. But it's getting to a point where it's getting sticky. It's what, for me, it's the 17th of June. For most of you guys, it's still 16th. You'll get to 17th very soon for you guys as well. We want this player gone before the end of this month. Essentially, we want this player not to be part of Chelsea's preseason and to be part of Man United's preseason. That will be the most ideal scenario. Mason Mount doesn't want to stick around. Proper Chelsea, he don't want to stick around at Chelsea. It is clear as daylight. No point in beating the drums right now and hoping that he sticks around with us. It's just not going to happen. So I'm a bit weary now. If we decline this deal, maybe we're going to tick off Man United and maybe they'll just wait till he becomes a free agent next season and they'll wait for a season. And then it's not prudent for us. I know I did say recently, look, stick around. We'll let you go on a free, whatever. You do whatever. You're not going now for less. You're staying with us and you're helping us out. But I'm thinking, how much is he really going to help us when he's disgruntled? So look, if we can get to 55, that would be brilliant. 50 plus 5 million in add-ons. Come on, Man United, just get to 55 and that's your man. But look, at the same time, don't want to break this deal either. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. Does 50 million do it for you? Do you want to maybe say no to Man United and risk the player to go out on a free next season? Let me know in the comment section. I feel like letting the player go out on a free now, probably not prudent, man. Probably not prudent, knowing that the player is not keen to stick around at Chelsea Football Club at all. Arsenal initially targeted Mason Mount, but once it emerged that his preference is to join Manchester United, the focus shifted to Kai Havertz. So, look, all the people that have been saying that it's not about the money, it is about the money. It's about the money. Money Mace, 100%. There was interest from Arsenal. Why don't you go there? Don't tell me, London rivals, this, that, the other. Man United probably providing him a good pay package, and this is why he's going. A lot of people are saying, it's not just about the money. It's also about the Champions League football being in Europe, this, that, the other. Well, Arsenal have Europe as well. And you'd think Arsenal will probably be a little bit more tasty at this time than Man United. Man, I honestly pray Man United don't make top 4 next season, man. I hope they crash out of Champions League in the group stage. That would be so sensational. And also they don't make top 4, and that would be perfect. Let's see what Mason Mount does then. And I hope we make it to top 4, which think it's a bit far-fetched and it's probably a bit ambitious. I'm hoping for a top 6 finish. That's what I'm hoping for. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, breaking. Chelsea could bid for Nicolas Jackson next week, and sources have indicated an offer for Gabri Veiga could arrive soon. This is from Jacob Steinberg, and he's been very adamant about this player, Gabri Veiga. Once again, I don't know too much about either of these, Nicolas Jackson or Gabri Veiga. Gabri Veiga is more of a number 8, attacking sort of number 8, as opposed to a defensive style of a number 8. And obviously Nicolas Jackson, striker, young, talented striker from Villarreal. Yeah, I got no issues. I just need to do a little bit more research. But from judging by what you guys have been saying on social media about these couple of players, you guys seem to be quite keen about them, especially Gabri Veiga. There seems to be a lot of hype about this particular player. Once again, as I said, we need a striker. Looks like some of the striker options are too expensive. That's what we want to try with the young striker path. Let's see what happens with Nicolas Jackson. He could potentially be the next big thing under Pochettino. Who knows? Pochettino's got a history of doing madness, previously in Southampton and also in Spurs with Harry Kane. So who knows? Who knows what we can get out of Nicolas Jackson? And yeah, Gabri Veiga, as I said, getting rid of Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, Kovacic, all of these players in midfield, there's probably a place for a new player to come in, someone like Gabri Veiga. So watch this space in regards to this. The whole Nicolas Jackson one is actually quite legitimate. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano. Remember this video, guys. Nicolas Jackson and Chelsea. He's really concrete option. This is from Fabrizio Romano. So ladies and gentlemen, start doing your research on Nicolas Jackson. I'm going to start seeing some clips. I'm going to start seeing some Villarreal games if I can see some in the archive somewhere. Yeah, apparently finished the season with a bang. Yeah, 9 games, 8 goals at the end, some assists as well. Obviously not the finished product, a lot to develop, but could be the real deal. It just makes me think though, like, what is the options? Someone like Nicolas Jackson coming through, it does make me think that we will be open to getting rid of Armando Broja on a part deal with Brighton in regards to getting Caicedo. We could be open to that because what is the plan for David Fofana and Armando Broja? And if you want to bring in Nicolas Jackson as well, there's just too many young players there, right? You do need to have a proper plan. If you got someone well experienced, then you could probably see David Fofana and Armando Broja both sticking around at Chelsea football, and one potentially going on a loan, but both sticking around because there could still be a path. But when someone like Nicolas Jackson we're bringing in, one of their paths, Armando Broja or David Fofana, they'd have to probably start thinking, do I really have a future at Chelsea? Because 3 youngsters, that's probably a bit too much for one position. But as Fabrizio is saying, this is concrete. Yeah, this is what our new board are doing. They're finding some players. They're doing their research. So we just got to get on board with it. Last but not least, and this is perfect way to end, ladies and gentlemen, official Bakayoko has been released by Chelsea Football Club. Thank you. Yallah, thank you so much. Finally, this has come to an end. And look, best of luck to Bakayoko. Best of wishes to Bakayoko wherever he goes. The madness has ended for Bakayoko at Chelsea Football Club. My days, what a disaster. What an absolute... There were so many players that were buzzing for Monaco during that time when Bakayoko was purchased. There was Bernardo Silva, there was Fabinho, there was many other players. And we picked the one that has flopped. So, yeah, that's the Chelsea thing. It's a Chelsea thing. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. If any other news pops up in the next few hours or so, best believe we'll go live late evening, late night specials, UK time. So do look out for that. Until then, see ya.